fatalities from Hurricane Milton. Once the storm did clear, we did have about 57% of the county, or about 115,000 customers without electricity. And as a result of the storm, the St. Johns River at Astor did hit a historic high of 4.81 feet. Water does not recede quickly, unfortunately, so we do expect to see levels remain high for the foreseeable future. Our citizens information line throughout the duration of the storm has answered more than 4,100 phone calls, and staff members in the Emergency Operations Center have managed 1,152 missions related to Hurricane Milton. The Office of Emergency Management, with help from the county staff and our partners, will continue to assist our community to the best of our ability. And with that, I'll turn it over to Carrie Baker for information on our property damage assessments.
Good morning, I'm Carrie Baker, your Lake County property appraiser. So we've been busy. We've been out from the north end to the south end of the county doing damage assessment. And this has been a very widespread area of damage. Now, luckily, I mean, we're blessed in a lot of ways. So I could probably this is a guesstimate, but I could probably guess nearly 100,000 homes were affected in some way, meaning they lost a shingle or a window crack. But the good news is, as far as homes that were just truly devastated, and we're still finding them, by the way, we're probably talking 30 to 40 homes that were just majorly impacted. And there's a little bit of an unknown, and that is in the Astor area. We mentioned the flooding. There's homes that we haven't been able to get to. So as the flood water recedes and we can get in and take a look at those homes, we'll be able to come up with a better dollar value. Right now, we're only sitting at probably $10 million in damages that we have identified now. But we suspect that will probably triple or quadruple by the time we're finished with all our work. And here's sort of a story of lots of miracles that I think happened during this storm. As we're out in the neighborhoods looking at these damaged homes, and we are seeing a few trees that landed on homes, but what we're mostly seeing is large pine trees that just missed homes by feet and inches, oaks that crashed, and we're completely missing the homes. Now, they did hit the power lines, but they missed the homes. And then I can also tell you, from my field appraisers who've been out in the field, as soon as the wind subsided just in the least, neighbors started getting out and cleaning up their yards, cleaning up their neighbors' yards, and it's just wonderful to watch this happen, wonderful to see the community come together in these trying times. And I'm sure somebody will probably mention, we didn't have a single loss of life due to the storm. So I think today we should walk away, Mr. Chairman, as a county, counting our blessings, because it could have just been so much worse. I mean, this is the worst I've seen as far as widespread damage, down trees, just at least a damage to some degree. And like I said, probably nearly 100,000 properties were affected in some way. But we were spared the worst of the worst. We're a lucky community. We're blessed here in Lake County. And with that, Fred, you're up.
Good morning. I'm Fred Schneider, Assistant County Manager and Public Works Director. First, I wanted to mention that Public Works operations includes roads, traffic signals, traffic signs, engineering, right-of-way team, and as soon as planning for the storm, as soon as the storm was over, they're the first ones, along with Fire and Emergency Service and Sheriff and Police, out there checking roads. We have 1,400 miles of county-maintained roads. And so within the second day after the storm winds had died down, we were able to check every road, see which roads had blockages, were flooded. We enter those into our database system, and then they are continually monitored and updated as we get to each of these areas and correct those issues. Right now we have those 1,400 miles of roads, about 1% of those still have a blockage of some form or another. That could be a tree wrapped in a power line, or in a couple of roads we have some road washouts, or we have some roads that are still underwater. of the trees with the power lines, we're in strong communication with all the power companies. And as we communicate with them, they have to clear the line before our road operations staff can touch those trees. Because the power lines, even though you might have power at your house, sometimes generators are not correctly attached to homes and can reverse energize the lines as well. So we have to have clearance from the power companies. And then we can go cut it, push it off the road, and then later the debris management contractor for the county will come in and clean up the big trees and the piles of limbs and those kind of things. We do have 2 roads that are currently closed due to washouts. Those are in the between Mount Dora and Sorrento area. The Wolf Branch Road is currently closed. We have variable message board signs up, county signs, and also we coordinated with Florida Department of Transportation. They provided some signs to help provide detours so that drivers know not to go down that direction because that's where they're used to driving. Wolf Branch Road probably has 12 to 15,000 vehicles a day, so that's a lot of traffic to reroute. They're going to have to use State Road 46 and US 441 or run up County Road 437 and State Road 44. The good news is we started work on Wolf Branch Road yesterday. We expect that road to be reopened within 2 weeks. So that's we have a contractor that was on contract and ready to go, and we met with them on Saturday, I believe it was. Sunday they were working. So thank you to our team and our procurement staff and everybody who was able to get that moving. We're in contact with the Florida Department of Transportation. We are going to ask for some funding relief for that road, but that's something that happens later. Now, Britt Road is that will be a little longer duration of closure. The impact across that road was significant enough that we're going to be surveying and putting together an engineering plan in order to repair that roadway. So fortunately, Wolf Branch Road is a main route. Britt Road is also a main route, but there are also some other alternatives north and south that will work in the duration of while we're trying to put together how we're going to repair that roadway. It's pretty damaged. Then of course we have roads that are underwater still. We're aware of those. Some we can do something with. We've got pumps out. Others just have to recede over time. We've seen this over many years, over many different hurricanes. So we know where those critical areas are. Before the storm, we checked all the drainage pipes, the drainage inlets, make sure they were clear. So they are, and right now it's just a matter of getting a massive amount of rain, first from Helene and then from Milton. And those two added together were significant. Much more in some areas than we've experienced in many, many years. So with that, I'm going to now introduce Chief Quaylar.
Good morning, good morning. My name is Anthony Quiller. I'm the Deputy Chief of Operations for Lake County Fire Rescue. I'm happy to stand here today and to tell you that our crews, in partnership with Lake County Sheriff's Office, were able to stand up the community need crisis assessments that the citizens of Lake County will utilize. First, we have 2 comfort station aids, which are the significant area that's dealing with flooding. These comfort stations provide access to charging stations for cell phones, Wi-Fi if they have it accessible, bathrooms, showers, and hand washing stations. Now, they're open from sunrise to sunset. So the first one is in the Astor Butler Street bump ramp area. We have that set up as we speak. The second is near the Lake Mac and Pine Forest area, and we're working on that one as discussions are being made. So due to the distance, the shuttle of Lake Mac Community Center will help residents travel from the Pine Lakes Forest area, which will make it accessible much easier. So the residents should bring their charging cables, soap, detergent, and anything else they might need. We also have rescue teams that are stationed in areas like the Astor area alongside with boats and rescue vehicles should they be needed. So to stay, if they need us, we're available. Also, before I end this, I just want to give some brief safety tips. First, when you're cleaning up debris in your area, make sure you wear long sleeve. You want to make sure you're doing the best you can to wear eye protection, and you're utilizing chainsaws carefully. It's not uncommon that we will respond when people have injuries from chainsaws or pruning scissors, anything like that. There's a lot of debris out there, so we're asking the citizens to use caution. There are often also the water that we have out there, it's very deep, and we have to pay attention to where we're walking. There are multiple hazards that are out there. We have things like power lines that are down. We have animals that are wild animals and or moccasins such as that. So pay attention to the areas that you have. And lastly, if you have open wounds or any cuts from those, make sure you secure them and everything is taken care of when it comes to your safety at need. With that, I'll turn it back over to Megan for any questions.
Awesome, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and start our question and answer period for today's press conference. What I ask you to do is, if you're going to ask a question, to simply raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone to you. Make sure you say your channel and who you would like the question directed to. If you don't say who you want the question directed to, I will just choose the most appropriate person for you. With that being said, if anybody wants to go ahead and raise their hand, we'll get some questions going.
Hi, I'm with Fox 35. Is there an update on the Emerald Lake situation? We were out there this morning and it's still pretty flooded.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Emerald Lakes was one of the communities that was affected by the heavy rainfall that we saw during Hurricane Milton, and they did experience some flooding. We are, we are aware of the situation. We're monitoring the situation. Fortunately, we're waiting for waters to recede.
Good morning, I'm Jacqueline with News 13, and I was wondering, for the community in Astor, is there any additional resources that they're getting right now, especially since some areas can't even be reached at this point?
Yeah, so we have been working with state and federal partners to get resources to that area. The Comfort Station is one of the resources that we're going to be providing for that community as long as it's needed. We are also working with some of our federal partners to provide canvassing teams to that area to give them information about the federal declaration that was announced for our area as well, and the resources that come along with that. Unfortunately, it will take some time to get to some of the areas that are still inaccessible due to the flooding, but the resources are on the way as they become able to be provided.
Additional questions? Sorry, one more. And for people that still don't have power, I watched some of your Facebook Live last night. You mentioned it was about 5%. Is there any timeline or time frame for the remainder of people without power for when you might get it?
Yeah, so we work with our utility companies to monitor the situation with the power outages. We do understand that there are some that are complex fixes. So we don't necessarily have an exact time frame, but I would encourage folks who are still having power outages to continue to contact their utility providers.
Any additional questions?
All right, awesome. We're going to go ahead and conclude at this time. If you have a request for individual interviews, please let me know. And otherwise, we're going to go ahead and conclude the press conference. Thank you.
Thank you.